To our right hand side we have what will become the Kresen Kernow, which will be the new records office for Cornwall. The next phase of the project will see the building redeveloped with new open spaces for learning and for exhibitions to be presented. The brewery's always been a bit of a blot and had a couple of major fires which caused quite a bit of devastation, and that was evident when we first moved onto the site, and some of the initial aerial photographs that we have really show the concentration of buildings and some of the complexities that we had to face when we first arrived here. So following removal of the buildings, we started on the civils works. Now, part of this scheme is to offer flood alleviation for the surrounding properties. The historic leat has always passed through the site, but it was culverted in places, and one of our first jobs was to actually install a brand new open channel culvert throughout the whole length of the site. When we removed the floor slabs from the buildings that were located on the site, we found an old tank. Now this tank was approximately 30 metres long, 4 metres wide, 4.5 metres deep. It was granite built with a brick arch roof. No records really indicated it being present on site. As we started that work, what we came to find is that there was another tank, and that tank actually led to a mine shaft. When we started to excavate that down approximately 6 metres from the existing ground levels, we found an adit or a tunnel. Now this tunnel was leading from this shaft back towards the building itself. Now this shaft was located right next to the building facade itself. Further investigation found that this shaft was approximately 12 metres in depth, and we had approximately 8 metres of building above us. So the risk of collapse was quite real. This cover is all that visually you can see in respect to one of the deepest mine shafts that we've found. We've cast a structural slab approximately 6 metres below where I'm stood now, but that still opens and allows water to come up through. Below that it's another 6 metres to what we believe is a false timber bottom. Potentially it could go deeper and deeper again. One of the key challenges was to ensure that the records of Cornwall, which is all of Cornwall's history, which will be stored in this building after its completion, are safe and safe from flooding. As you can see, the natural level of the leat is running through. When we have a storm event, this will overtop the channel that has been created to contain it. It will flood this landscaped area with all the species chosen specifically to be submersed in water. What it will do is fill up to the grates that you can see. The water will then feed through the grate system, and it will flow down to the right hand side and enter into a big attenuation tank which is located underneath the highway built to serve the scheme. When the levels then drop, the tank will then discharge through a series of pipework and manholes back into the leat and disperse naturally. This is the spillway where the water from the leat enters into the box culvert which passes underneath the new highway. This was more traditionally designed to start with, granite stone faced gabion baskets. What we really wanted to do was to ensure the history of the site was captured. We spoke to one of the local glass collectors from the local pubs and asked him to supply us a couple of thousand bottles to be able to create these gabion baskets. Now on these baskets, about halfway down, you may see a line of brown bottles. Now these bottles were excavated from the ground and were belonging to Redruth Brewery Company. They have RBC stamped in the bottom, and we thought it would be nice to include that to mark history of the scheme. We managed to find enough of the consistent brown bottles to obviously place within the gabion basket wall. Some of the other examples that we found, more rarely, Redruth Brewery with the stopper included, and also with ale still inside. We believe that this dates 80 to 100 years. It had the stopper intact, and the first thing that any of us did was to take the top off. As we took the top off, it fizzed. We couldn't believe it, and smelling it now, it still has a very pungent smell of ale. Nobody was quite brave enough to try it. It looks a little bit murky, to be honest. So here we have the artist sculptures that's on the main concourse into the building itself behind me. These statues weigh approximately 350 kilos and they're cast in concrete with a reinforced steel membrane and also steel fibres to give it its support. These were lifted by crane into position and then bolted to a concrete base beneath it, so they're not going to go anywhere. This is really going to be an excellent landmark and a place where people want to come and learn and enjoy the space that we've created.